Anyone that comes in with something lower, our goal is to be able to beat it and make sure that we take care of the client the best way we can.
I think a lot of people don't care about the service, right? They care about the rate. Let's talk about what does that mean? Why you would want the service versus the rate. When somebody comes to you and they say to you, I'm gonna wait to buy because I believe that there's gonna be better deals in the future, what do you say?
We've been encouraging every agent that we help to put in, if their seller's willing, to put verbiage into the MLS to help them with the 2-1 buy down. The 2-1 buy down payment monthly over the first 2 years helps way more than a reduction in price. If the realtors are not reading that, they're just not paying attention to what's going on.
Are agents really allowed to give feedback? I think the one and most important question is there something that we can do that would make your client interested in buying this home? Whether it be a concession, a credit. I'm not saying that the seller is willing to do that. I'm asking a question. Hi everyone, welcome to Making Money with Laura Sanders, and I am your host, Laura Sanders. Every week we talk about something that will help you make a little money, save a little money, or maybe just help you navigate this crazy world that we live in. And boy, oh boy, do we live in a crazy world. So today I have Brian Susy with Cross Country Mortgage. I got it right. He is with Max Fish, who has left Nationwide to now join forces with another big time lender in the area to be the greatest of the great.
We did. We obviously it's out now. Okay. We hooked up with Cross Country with Max Fish.
That sounds kind of dirty. You hooked up.
We hooked up with Matt Weaver. So this way we were the biggest with Nationwide. Now the biggest with Cross Country merged to be the biggest altogether.
It's awesome.
It's really about helping the client, helping the realtor, and that's really what matters.
Will that help you to get better rates?
We should be able to get better rates and be competitive in every market that's out there.
Okay. Well, that's what most people are looking for, right? We're looking for the best rate possible.
Yes.
So I know you were saying that sometimes lenders have to, they're given a certain rate that they're allowed to give quote out from the head of the branch, right? And then sometimes somebody will go somewhere else and somebody will undercut you, right? Which means I'm not exactly sure how that all works because I'm a realtor, I show houses. But then you have to go back and ask for permission, right?
Correct.
To get an even lower rate.
So what happens is anyone that comes in with something lower, our goal is to be able to beat it and make sure that we take care of the client the best way we can.
But would that upset the client that you didn't give him that rate from the very beginning?
Sometimes it can.
Right.
Sometimes it's not necessarily just about rate. Sometimes it's about the service we're giving them. Obviously, since you saw the transition, we don't do anything like sending out a link anymore. Now everything is much more personable. We're on the phone with everybody from application to close.
Wow.
And sometimes that's way more important than just being at that low rate and they're giving them horrible service.
So, but that's the thing. I think a lot of people don't care about the service, right? They care about the rate. But let's talk about what does that mean? Let's be more specific why you would want the service versus the rate. Because the rate's a long-term thing, could be 30 years.
It's funny because I explain it very, very differently depending on who I'm speaking with. What's more important than anything else is the way that the client's handled from the start to the end. Because the rate is so minute if we're not the best, which majority of the time we are. But if we're not, the rate is such a small portion, especially in our world. First-time home buyers live in a house for maybe about 5 years and then move along. I'm sure how many repeat clients do you get because of their first-time home buyer to their forever home? You probably get a lot.
Yeah, there's some people I'm trying to get them out of their home and they're like, nope, staying. I'm like, but you need a bigger home.
Some people you can
do it before your kids are all grown.
Some people can't see the big picture. Some do. And with that being said, it really depends on how you're handling them. I explain to everybody, I do this 5-6 times a month. Mm-hmm. You may do this 5-6 times in your life. So Let me educate you and hold your hand through the process. And that's really what people really want.
Yeah, that makes sense when you explain it that way, that when you have questions, the banks are not going to answer those questions.
The banks never answer the questions. And crazy, the direct banks are usually have the highest rates of them all.
Which is funny because usually they'll show them the lowest rates, but I guess that gets them in.
Well, what happens is, and I say this a lot, especially with Bank of America. Bank of America always advertises a rate and says, but what they don't realize is on the fine print, it says this is the cost, the origination fees that it costs to get you that rate. So it's like a
Bait
lost
and
leader.
switch.
Yeah.
Well, I guess they're not supposed to do bait and switch, but they do.
Well, it's really a lost leader because it's leading you to think something, and that's really not the way it is.
Well, and that's another reason why paying a little higher. And when we're talking about a little bit of a higher fee, what would you say that looks like?
Well, like I said, most of the time we are the best because we are.
So it's lower fees too.
Yes. When you do as many loans as we do in a month, we get better pricing, which that leads to better rate for the client.
Okay.
That means your client is happier with you because you referred them to someone who's taking care of them with the rate and with the service and what really matters. So now, if there is ever a discrepancy where someone may come in lower, you're talking about a quarter, an eighth. You're not talking like a half a point better. The market doesn't allow for that.
Right. So what do you, when somebody comes to you, I'm trying to get this out. When somebody comes to you and they say to you, I'm going to wait to buy because I believe that there's going to be better deals in the future, what do you say?
I can tell you the line that everyone says.
Yeah.
Marry the house, date the rate, but that's
They say don't say that.
That's very bad. That's not what I explain to people. I explain to people that there are other options, especially in the market that we're in right now. Ask the seller for credits. Let's see if we can get you into a 2-1 buy down, into something or even a permanent buy down that the rate fits them better, their payment fits them better for whatever term it is that they're going to be in the house for a few years. Mm-hmm. And when rates come down, we do a special help to refinance people.
Right. So let's go back to that. I want you to explain to our listeners what you mean by a 2-1 buy down. And the reason why I say that is because I've tried advertising this in my marketing. I feel that realtors don't read. I don't know why. For me, it would be attractive if I'm showing a house and the list price is X and it says that the seller is willing to do a 2-1 buy down. That tells me that I'm either going to be able to get that rate lower for 2 years, mm-hmm. or I'm able to negotiate that cost in a lower purchase price for my client, or get closing cost credits back.
Correct.
So why are realtors not reading? Do you know? Are you seeing this? Am I by myself?
We've been encouraging every agent that we help to put in, if their seller's willing, to put verbiage into the MLS to help them with the 2-1 buy down. The 2-1 buy down payment monthly over the first 2 years helps way more than a reduction in price. So if the realtors are not reading that, they're just not paying attention to what's going on. But you know as well as I do how many realtors really don't do the job properly or that are not full-time realtors.
Well, so talking about realtors, right? I think I need to get a little stress off of my chest. Not everything off my chest, but a little stress. So Sunday morning at 7 a.m., I get a text message. Will your owner give 4% towards closing? 7 a.m. on Sunday morning. Now, I see it, and I'm like, I don't really know the answer to this, but it's 7 a.m. on a Sunday morning. My response is, I don't know. Did you show the property? No. Okay. I'm going to show it today. Great. Let me talk to my client. So now I talk to my client. And I'm trying to explain to her, listen, if it's at a full price offer, listen, you don't want to reduce the price, you need to, whatever. So in the end, I get her to say, okay, after a whole diatribe, right?
Okay.
So now I call the agent for feedback after they show it. I call on Monday because this is on Sunday, right? No response. So I call again. Now let me tell you where my frustration stands. My frustration stands that our clients are calling us right away. What's the feedback? What's the feedback? What's the feedback, right? They think we're not working because you're going, well, I haven't talked to them yet. Well, why haven't you talked to them? Well, they haven't called me back. That typically sounds like a cop-out, right? right?
Yeah, absolutely, it could
'Cause
sound that way, but I know it's not.
Right. So I get no response all day. So late last night, I text the agent and I say, if you're going to text me at 7 a.m. on a Sunday morning, the least you can do is respond back to me with some feedback on whether or not your client's interested in what they didn't like about the house.
And your answer from them?
Was again at 6:30 this morning, I get a voicemail message that says, now I know they're lying. This is how I know they're lying, because I had called for feedback and then they sent me a text. Oh, I'm going to be sending the offer tomorrow. And then she goes, sorry, wrong agent. And then I respond back, well, did you not can you tell me a little bit more? So today's message, after I left that message, and I just think it's just, if you're going to call me at 7 o'clock in the morning, like, come on, at least have the respect to call me back. So she leaves a voicemail message, and she doesn't speak English well, but so when text to talk, they can read it. I was busy. I had an emergency in the hospital.
That doesn't surprise me. They expect you to jump immediately to answer, to make sure that you're scheduling showings for them and never answer you back when it's time to answer you back. Again, how many realtors do this part-time, which is probably what happened there. She probably had to work her real job and wasn't working.
Yep, she sent a text to let whoever it was that they were getting an offer. So sometimes if I have to accompany a showing, before I'll approve the showing, I will say to them, if I approve your showing to show it to you, you have to promise me that within 24 hours, you will give me feedback.
Smart.
Because I can't tell you how many times I go to an accompaniment. Accompaniment means that I have to be there when the showing is transpiring, and I can't get them back on the phone.
Agents that don't know what they're doing in their job, or not willing to learn how to do the job properly.
So I want sellers to hear that this is real. This isn't I left a message, or they think you just didn't call, or you don't care. Because I'm not here to hold your house. I'm here to sell your house. Like, I don't want your house. I want to sell it.
Being that I'm in your RE/MAX office a lot, and I'm listening to the agents talking, this is happening way more than you can imagine. You do things on a higher and on a bigger scale than most. So it probably happens way more to you than someone doing it on a lesser scale. And I still hear it on a daily.
Well, I know your wife is a realtor.
She is?
I'm sure she gets an answer.
No, there's lots of times I listen to her and she's very frustrated like you, that people, first off, in the middle of the night, they're calling. Agents are calling and looking for requests and then never respond. And all you're looking for is feedback. Let me know, this way I can explain to the customer what's going on. And they don't.
I heard something else, and I don't know if this is true, something about a new lawsuit going on with feedback, but we're going to go to commercial break, and when we come back, we'll talk about what is going on with feedback. So stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Whether you're buying, selling, refinancing, or building your dream home, you have a lot riding on your loan specialist. Max Fish, a top 1% mortgage loan officer in the nation, will give you a same-day qualifying quote. Max Fish is committed to providing his customers with mortgage services that exceed their expectations. Ensuring that you make the right choice for you and your family is his ultimate goal. Contact Max Fish today at 954-729-6933 or max.fisch@nwmcorp.net.
At JK Closing Attorneys, we do all of the same things that a title company does, but with the benefits of being a law office. We can help with residential real estate, short sales, commercial real estate, refinances, 1031 exchanges, and FIRPTA withholding.
Contact JK Closing Attorneys today at 954-332-3111. Again, that is 954-332-3111.
Priority One Credit Union of Florida is a welcoming credit union that makes your financial success our number one priority. We offer lower loan rates, higher deposit rates, and common sense local loan approvals. with nationwide access through shared branching.
Hi, I'm Dina Hennessy, President and CEO at Priority One Credit Union. We are open to the community. Anyone can be a member of our credit union, and we would love to have you.
Contact us today at 954-335-5100. You can also reach us at PriorityOneFL.org. Your financial success is our priority. That's 954-335-5100.
Hi, everyone, and welcome back to Making Money with Laura Sanders, and I am your host, Laura Sanders. So here I am today speaking with Brian Susy. He is a mortgage lender, direct lender, right?
We are a direct lender.
Direct lender, so he can also explain what that means. But we're talking about, first of all, what's going on in the mortgage industry. Are homes being foreclosed on? Are agents being easy to work with? That's a no. No? No?
It's a hard answer.
I have an agent shows up on the wrong day for their showing. So every morning now I call to confirm their appointments, but they still don't answer the phone. So if they don't answer the phone, I cancel their appointment and tell them, if you don't answer or don't respond to my text, I'm gonna have to cancel your appointment. I also have agents that are not showing up for their appointments at all. Like, how disrespectful. I've even written in the listings to say that if you can't be on time or you're going to be late, please send me a call or text. So we started to talk about, are agents really allowed to give feedback? So I had heard that there was now like some kind of discussion that agents really shouldn't be giving too much information. Now, maybe if they're saying something to help you because they're not interested, maybe that would be good, right? That could be helpful, right?
Yeah,
Why they wouldn't want it.
That sounds like it would help you if the client didn't like it because there were 2 bedrooms and they needed 3.
Yeah. So, right. Which, why are you looking at a 2-bedroom when you want a 3?
Which they do, though.
No, because I get that from my sellers. Like, they're like saying to me, Laura, why are they looking at a 2-bedroom when they need a 3-bedroom? Why are they looking at a 2-story when they only want a single story?
Because the clients do that. You know this. This is what we've been dealing
Then
with.
the sellers get mad at us, right? So it says, if an agent shares that the buyer loved the home or thought the price was fair, it signals to the seller that the buyer may be willing to accept fewer concessions or pay closer to the list price. Undermining leverage. Sellers can use that feedback to craft counter offers that are less favorable to the buyer, such as excluding closing costs or denying repair requests. Ethical considerations. According to the Realtor's Code of Ethics, agents must protect and promote their client's best interest. Disclosing too much can violate that duty. Okay. All right. Best practices emerging in the industry. Expectation contracts. Some agents now use agreements that outline what kind of feedback, if any, contracts to discuss feedback, if any, that they're allowed to give, ensuring transparency and protecting the buyer's position.
That's crazy.
Discreet in communication. Agents are encouraged to keep feedback vague and focus on superficial aspects like layout and paint color, especially if the buyer is considering to make an offer. So funny, right? Makes you wonder now. You get feedback and they are going to think about making an offer.
Are they lying to you?
Right. So now what do you do? Right?
We don't like the house because of this, but here's an offer.
So I have a seller right now that she'll call me 100 times and tell me, call them back again and do this and call them back again. And it's like, my thing is like, I think the one and most important question is there something that we can do that would make your client interested in buying this home? Whether it be a concession, a credit. I'm not saying that the seller is willing to do that. I'm asking a question, right?
That question actually would be what would make sense.
And now I'm thinking to myself, doesn't it make more sense to wait to do feedback?
Till when? Till after they're under contract?
No, but here's the thing. If they wanted to make an offer to you, they probably would have made an offer, right? So if you wait, right, if you call them the same day, right, you can't really have that conversation. What would it take to get your client to make an offer on this?
Then
Because now you're offering something and now the seller's not in
Correct.
control. So
What-
how, I mean,
The only way you can really think about it is only do feedback if they're not interested in the property. If they're interested, make an offer, no feedback necessary.
do you have any, so what would you say? Is there any feedback that you can,
At this point, there's no feedback, but we're interested in making an offer.
that's what you were saying if you're the buyer's agent.
If you're the buyer's agent.
But what about
So-
the listing agent? How do you get them to want to do business with you? Other than be awesome me and just want to do business with me.
It's simple. It's my buyers being aggressive, my sellers being aggressive and is willing to obtain and listen to any offer possible. If it makes sense, they may be willing to move forward. That puts you in a position where, if it makes sense, they're gonna sell. So,
Right.
but
Because it talks about that agents must protect and promote the interests of the client. This is the primary obligation. However, they must also treat all parties honestly. So it's like, so it says why feedback can be ethically risky. Unintended disclosure, fiduciary duty, an obligation. There's no requirement under the code to provide showing feedback if it could provide harm to the client's position.
But which client? Obviously, you're not going to give harmful feedback to someone that is trying to buy the house that you're listing.
So here's the thing. It also, because I have clients that say, oh, they're giving just such generic feedback.
Well, clearly, if this is going on, that's what's going to continue to happen. There's not going to be any specific feedback if it can put the buyer, if they're the buyer's agent, if it's going to put their leverage to negotiate properly in place. They won't do that. That would make no sense, especially now if there's going to be a lawsuit. It's not going to be advantageous for them to do any of these things. And I guess you're going to see less feedback coming from the realtors from the other side. Because they're afraid
I don't know
to
that
be
a lot of
sued.
people have heard about this. I've heard about this.
I have not heard about it
Because
yet.
I spend so much time on feedback. 3 hours in the morning is, between my assistants and myself, is just on feedback, providing feedback, calling, chasing.
Remember, when you're chasing these people, 90% of the agents that are out there do 3 deals a year. They don't know
So how
what
hard
they're
can
doing.
it be to respond?
They don't know what they're doing. They have another job. They're not a full-time realtor. They're doing this to supplement income. Having the professional do the job, when you have someone that's professional, that's doing it full-time, I'm not going to say 100%, 70% of the time they should answer you for feedback. Whether it's good feedback or not, that's a whole other story.
Right.
But if you have a realtor that's a professional realtor, they know the struggles of being on the other side where you are, to see if someone doesn't answer, and they've seen what it is, so they answer. So
So if people are looking for a top-rated lender, who they call you? Do they call Max? Or
Max and I are one in the same. There's no difference. If you call me, if you call Max, we're both.
so what
part of
number
the
would
same
that
team.
be?
You can call me at 954-214-4795. Unfortunately, I don't know Max's phone number by heart to tell you to call Max.
I don't even know. His wife probably doesn't even know his number by heart. I only know 2 numbers by heart besides my own. I don't even know my kids. I know my handyman.
Understandable.
He's been my handyman for 28 years. And I know my husband's number.
That's a good thing.
Yes. And I know all the phone numbers from when I was a kid, people's home numbers. Crazy, right?
It's funny. I remember phone numbers. I remember credit card numbers.
Credit card numbers, oh my God.
I used to remember every single credit card.
So
Now I don't.
if you're looking for a top-rated realtor, somebody that can make sure that gets you feedback, I can't say it's the best feedback because apparently we've got issues now, right?
No one's answering.
Anyway, so if you're looking for the best realtor out there, give me a call, Laura Sanders, Remax Direct, 954-650-0827, or you can go to the web and check me out at laurasell.com. And if you want to get a hold of Max or Brian, definitely send me a text. I'm always available, apparently even at 6 a.m. on a Sunday morning. So till next Thursday, you guys have a great night.
you.